course, my vantage point is a little curated because so many people that have stories that others wouldn't be inclined to believe found me, like, year after year after year. So I have so many conversations. I can't imagine how this wouldn't be embraced by, like, the mainstream at all. Like, I'm like, you think I'm the crazy person, or these people I talk to, you're the crazy people that don't believe this is true.
Yeah.
Like, that's the part that just rocks my world at this point. And it's like, well, let's help by continuing to double down on the narrative of the truth, right? And
absolutely,
our world has definitely been engineered. And we've been groomed to be blind to the engineering that's happened right under our noses for decades and decades.
On purpose. Yeah.
On purpose. And I want to expand this now into some of the other locations that you have been abused. And I'm just going to open it up, right? Disney World.
Right. Definitely Disney World. Actually, in Florida and in California, they were underground. It looks kind of like, I know even the mainstream, they say they're underground tunnels, but there's a portion that looks more like military-based, medical things going on, but it's more hidden behind locked doors. The normal employee that's clueless wouldn't have any idea that it's going on. But it's a cover. It's a cover. Disney was involved in all of this, so it's a cover for the Illuminati for getting children in a place where they can really program them willfully or unwillfully. A lot of times, like It's a Small World After All. Like, it's really a programming song so much. Like, they infiltrate a lot of the music with different frequencies to really cause children to kind of zone out and see who is actually able to be manipulated with and who isn't, what level of dissociation that they have. So, yeah. So
what are some of the memories you have of either Disneyland or Disney World?
Well, you hear about they want you to see it in plain sight. They kind of want to tell you ahead of time what they're doing. It's like they get more power out of that. But they would do a lot of video and pictures and stuff like that, us walking through the park like a family, like a normal family. But all of the torture and all of the programming, they would bring the different characters in there and do a lot of rape and torture. So then in your mind, you're thinking, this can't really be happening because it's this cartoon character looking, but it is happening. They're just dressed up like that, but they make you think you're crazy. But it's all, all of that programming is underground. It's going on underground. So they have people in the right positions to be able to really do it in plain sight without people having any idea that it's going on. And it's in their movies, There's all kinds of subliminal things that they put in their movies. They're all about putting subliminal stuff to try to program our mind.
Golly. Another location that probably not as many people would be aware of is Kings Island. That's in Ohio.
I was taken to Kings Island a lot. One in particular, there was another victim. She had a family member that worked there. Actually, a child of hers that worked there. So they always have somebody in place that kind of is going to give you access. If they don't have somebody like in leadership that's over it. they always have somebody in place so they can have access to things. But I was taken to Kings Island a lot, and they have a lot of underground tunnels there as well. And they strategically choose amusement parks because it's a good cover, and there's a lot of kids, you can get a lot. They get a lot of sick gratification on seeing like their product acting like this good family, or children acting a certain way. I programmed them to be this way. I did that. Like, they're being what I told them they have to be. They get a lot out of that. So that's a good, that's an opportunity for them to really carry out the programming that they've done kind of in plain sight.
Goodness. All right, so now let's start getting into some of the heavy stuff. If so the groundwork is laid. If anyone didn't know who you were before, I'm sure they're getting a much better idea now. And so your grooming and programming set you apart to be used at the highest levels. Mm-hmm. And by highest levels, I mean presidents and billionaire levels.
Right.
Where do you want to go?
I say just do it all.
So let's open up on Biden and Obama. Okay. So and by the way, just so you know, listening audience, we did a podcast years ago where Hope described a ritual to me that involved Biden, and it had great viewership until it was taken down. I got kicked off of Vimeo, so let's just hope that this
right. Cover us, Lord.
It's like the new day. Mark Zuckerberg went to Donald Trump. I mean, I know that he spilled the beans on the CIA and everyone else that was holding him hostage to his censorship agenda or not. I mean, I don't really know what happened, but hopefully we find that there's some less than censorship here. Let's talk about your eyewitness experience.
So, for me, Biden wasn't involved all the time in my programming, but he is more of like a governmental overseer for programming. He does a lot of that. So, like, if you're having any breaks in your, like, they can kind of determine if you're what they built up, the denial wall and all that, is breaking at all. And so they'll take you to corporate rituals, to corporate, like with governmental figures and things like that, where they may have different techniques that they use on you to program your mind. So I remember one time in particular, it was with NASA. They had taken me to NASA, and they kind of simulate what it's like in space. And the whole point of that is they're trying to really get you to kind of your mind to dissociate, to feel kind of separate from your body, to kind of separate the two. But Biden was there and Obama was there. And now Obama is probably, I don't know, like 10 years older than me, something 12 years older than me. But it was very evident that he was being groomed to do a higher position because the normal programmers, the ones that would do like the torture or rape and things like that, would normally be the first ones to do that, and then they would bring in other people that they were planning on kind of taking center stage next. So I definitely had experiences very, very, I'm trying to think of the word, like extreme. Biden was very extreme, and trying to I guess, show his power by causing intense pain, intense torture, to kind of build him up. You know, you guys couldn't do this. Your programming was breaking down. Nobody wants to hear that, like, because they pride themselves in that, and it causes them to be able to be at a higher level, they say. But he pretty much would kind of say, I'm the main guy here. But they were training Obama up to do that. So he was participating in the rituals and the things that they were doing.
So just so I have this straight. Mm-hmm. As a child being trafficked to various programming facilities, of which we are including NASA facilities, mm-hmm. you, on occasion, saw both Obama and Joe Biden, as both former presidents of this country,
right,
present at these locations, and you witnessed Obama being groomed and programmed mm-hmm. for a higher role,
right,
and Joe Biden was asserting himself as a real power figure in this world.
Yes, absolutely. Later on, I had, it was another time where, my program was really, really like more at the 19 age level. And, they were doing a lot of rituals where they were taking a face off of one person and putting it on another person. So they do that a lot to make you think you're crazy. Like, who is this person? Like, I don't know. Is this Joe Biden or is this not Joe Biden? Like, so they take a face off. They literally torture someone and do that. So,
and with this, can we call it face swapping? One of the immediate thoughts someone might have is, well, I saw Mission Impossible and they can print 3D masks and make Tom Cruise look like any person. So are they doing that in these rituals, or are they actually removing people's skin?
They're actually removing people's skin.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it is extreme torment and torture to watch that happen. As a child, they can cause a lot of splits in your personality through that. So they use that a lot. I mean, the Clintons use that a lot. They talk about frazzle drip and all of that, like the taking of one face and put it on the other. And actually, just recently, there was, I think it was FBI or CIA or maybe it was CIA. They have started going mainstream at how the masks look so lifelike that people don't really know, like they've had those. But I really think the whole point of why they're doing that now, it's like because they're wanting people to say, oh, well, it wasn't a real face. It was just a mask. So how do you know that this person was this person and this person was this? It's really another way to kind of discredit survivors, I feel like, because they actually literally do that. They really dismember a person. You look at the movie Face Off. It's I don't know if you've ever seen that, but
I did years ago.
Yeah, it's really what they do.
Wow. So that's very big. Let me ask you this. Obviously, around that age, this was long before Obama was a senator, before he ascended and became president. I mean, everybody that looked at his career basically scratched their head and said, how and why? You're so young, you've done one major thing, and now you're running for president and winning. And then he picked his running mate, Joe Biden. Now, at that time, way back in, 2008, did you have any like reaction on what was happening, or were you still pretty well programmed at that time? Just like it didn't really register.
I had a major reaction. Like at that time, those memories hadn't come back, but they really, it's like kind of time bombs, I think it is, like that they put at different time markers of things that they say they're going to do, like that that this is going to happen when I go into office, or this is going to happen. Like I had a major reaction to that. I had memories later about him and Joe Biden, but normally they put like a wall. It's like an army. The way I can try to explain it, it's like an army of splits of your personality, really trying to cover that up, like working really hard to keep that barrier there so you don't remember that until the time that they specified, like with demons or whatever, at so-and-so time, then this is going to happen. So that's the main reason they even give any information about what's going to happen, because they can program your mind to really not remember it until they say.
So